So the General Assembly of the United Nations defines biological warfare thusly: the use in war of pathogenic or disease-producing bacteria, fungi, protozoa, rickettsia, viruses and other agents of infectious disease, or their toxic products, and of certain other organic chemical poisons intended to kill or incapacitate human beings or economically useful animals, or to destroy or damage food crops or other useful plants. It's sinister, it's gruesome, it's effective, it's gross, totally wild. But it lacks scope, it lacks scale, and I reckon most of all it lacks imagination. But luckily there are a bunch of plucky military researchers and engineers who thought about scales that are more ambitious than the microscopic. Like, why don't we use whole animals as the weapons? And history's full of examples. So you've got bat bombs, dolphin bombs. All these require the creature to deliver the payload. But this one I just found this week offers a more novel take, and it has an accidental hat tip to the Matrix decades before it was ever filmed. I like the bongo solo in this tune.
Definitely bongo.
Yep, definitely.
It's time for a little bit of science. I'm Will Grant, an Associate Professor in Science Communication at the Australian National University.
You definitely are. I'm Rod Lamberts, a 30-year veteran of science communication stuff with the mind of a 15-ish-year-old boy.
And today, as well as biowarfare policy, we've also got maybe work on the comms.
I'm going to tell you about something I never knew needed to be debunked.
And I've also got a Hero of Science Sincere Edition.
We have to stand up and salute for that one, don't we?
Yes, we should. We should.
And it has to be a non-white male. Otherwise you can't do it. Otherwise you can't do the story.
No, stop being so...
Can't do the story.
Look at you. Whatever. No, we can do both. So what are we learning? Biowarfare here?
Well, yeah, but on a scale that I really quite admire.
Really?
It's inventive.
Tell us, what is the scale?
I'll tell you.
All right.
I'll tell you.
Okay. All right.
It's bigger than microscopic. It's going to the Cold War. A lot of tensions, you probably didn't know this, around the world, but particularly in Europe. People were worried about stuff.
Yeah.
And NATO
Iron Curtain
folks
has descended across Europe.
I know, and it's very hard to drive through an Iron Curtain. So anyway, yeah, NATO folks, they were constantly looking for ways to preempt and protect the glorious free West.
Yes.
From the evils of the hideous monsters of the Euro East.
Oh, Euro East.
You know, the Eastern Europeans.
Yeah, I know.
Terrible monsters.
The Soviet Union. It was not the fact that they were in Eastern Europe. It was the fact that they were commies.
So they were pretty big fans of sussing out nuclear solutions
to
the problem of invading nasty red armies.
Yeah, okay. So the army invades, we can throw a nuke at their army.
One way or another, yeah. And so for a long time, you only really
did they really model it? So an army is sitting here, and we put a nuke in the middle of the army.
A lot of them
How many army is left?
Less than before. And what kind of remains do we have? Ash and goo. So your standard options for a long time for delivering a nuke: dropped from a plane.
Yep.
Strapped to a missile.
Yep.
Maybe lob it from a cannon, but fuck it would have to be a big bertha of a cannon.
Yeah, but you know, not impossible.
We want to get it a long way from you.
Yeah, well, it depends on the size of the nuke as well.
Well, it does. And I don't think they were big on like your briefcase nukes in the early days.
Yeah, but they did say that there would be, your megaton, your kiloton, you can have low kiloton device.
Your microton.
Just
like you go to a deli and order
your centiton,
500 grams.
Or your deciton.
I'll have a deciton of nuclear bomb, please. So one alternative the POMs came up with was underground nuclear mines.
Oh, like tunneling under under the Soviet Union from England.
No. They wanted to put them in West Germany,
and so you set them off when the army is coming close.
Yeah, that's the thing. They didn't want to leave them. Like it's not like you step on it and it goes. Perf.
I do like the idea that the trigger could have just been a soldier stands on it.
Oh shit! And then you're thinking that was just the scout. We used a whole nuke and we got one scout.
Yeah, one person
and his headphones. Yeah. So, no, they were saying, okay, what we're going to do is we want to place these nuclear landmines in West Germany to stop this hypothetical Soviet invasion.
This does sound like a policy that someone outside that country would come up with.
100%. So you're like, where shall we put it, chaps? West Germany? Seems far enough.
Only Jerry there.
Yeah, exactly. Fabulous. So, welcome to Operation Blue Peacock, which is a name that kind of weirdly hints at what it is, and I'll get to that. So, there's a classified 1955 paper, and it said, a skillfully sited atomic mine would not only destroy facilities and installations over a large area, hard to argue, but would deny occupation of the area to an enemy for an appreciable time due to contamination.
Oh, great.
Yes, we've all heard of nukes.
Yeah.
We agree. So the plan is, as we've flagged, it wasn't for some poor bastard to be the scout tread on it and goes boom, detonate it remotely, or put a timer on it that could be set for up to 8 days delay. So if you're pretty confident they were coming, you could set a timer and go, okay,
I still feel like you could probably put a wire or something like that would be a bit better than...
No.
I'm going to go with remotely. I don't want to put a timer. Like, what if it's raining that day and the Soviets say, all right, let's...
Invasion's paused.
Wait a full days.
Yeah.
Like, I think...
We have maybe short postponement.
And then the nuke goes. I don't like random timers like that.
But see, the thing was, you weren't on this team.
Okay,
you weren't on this
okay,
team,
fair
so
enough.
they didn't take your
All right,
opinion
so they
into
had
account.
timers, but they did have remote facilities.
They had remote facilities, or at least that was the theory, but the timers were the things that seemed to win the day, up to 8 days. So they only had one kind of nuke available to them, which is called the Blue Danube, and I don't know why. It's a very peaceful and beautiful name for a nuclear weapon.
It's a song.
It is, but just interesting, what would we call this nuke? I think the Blue Danube. So it's a 10 kiloton explosion, or it would be.
Which is half of your Hiroshima.
Is it? Is that a 20?
Yeah, roughly.
Whoa. Okay, so a half Japanese first boom boom bomb, but in mine form. The crater, they reckon, be about 100 metres-ish in diameter, which is not nothing.
So if the Soviets put all of 10,000 men into that 100-metre radius...
They would be fucked.
Take more. Typically not the way that armies necessarily...
Not as a rule. They don't tend to clump
like
as much as...
I mean, are you really thinking, okay, we're going to camp on top of this... Did the British leave like a little sign above it saying,
Get over here.
Great camping spot.
Free bird feed.
Set up your headquarters. Free bird
Exactly. 100% road runner. So, that's what it would do. And, of course, it would leave radiation and fallout, etc. But these devices were also a little bit sensitive. So tests found that in the cold conditions of Europe in winter, it could cool them so much they wouldn't work, which is a problem. So they insulated them, and that wasn't enough. So they needed something to keep the mines warm. Oh, my God. Warm enough. And the solution was chickens.
What? What?
Duh. Chickens.
If you had said, let's play guessing game here, you have to guess the solution and how they kept it warm. I think it would have been, a very long podcast episode before I got to chickens. Even if you're giving clues.
Yeah.
Like, these are live chickens?
Oh, yeah.
And they're buried in with the bomb?
Oh, yeah. So there's
and they struggle for 8 days, warmly.
No, they don't struggle. There are many sources that talk about this. BBC one. The birds we put inside the casing of the bomb, obviously.
Live?
Yeah, alive. Then they were given some bird seed to keep them alive and stop them from pecking at the wiring, which is probably good.
We're not monsters.
No. Let them eat until they suffocate or whatever. The theory was the chicken's body heat would be enough to maintain the triggering mechanism's working temperature.
And they could cope in the dark and
They give a shit, they're chickens. I mean, you see how we treat chickens and they somehow work it out. So they reckon the chickens would last about a week. And then after that time, the bomb would cool too much to work again.
Wow.
I know. So this is why I think Blue Peacock wasn't actually about... It's kind of a romantic way of describing it because,
Why didn't we get peacocks?
Well, peacocks are birds and blue, they're cold.
Peacock's more expensive, I guess.
They are, and bigger.
But the feathers are the point here. Feathers are your insulation. So this is like a living down blanket.
Well, more like a living... It's like Iron Man's heart, but you do it with a chicken. Yeah, they needed the natural body heats. And, I mean, this is why I think it's a little Matrix-like too, You're using this life form as a battery and plugging it in and keeping it alive. Gross. So by 1958, they had 2 prototypes.
Really?
They did one test and they said, nah.
So they did the test with the chickens?
Apparently they did one test. All I could find was the project was cancelled after one test.
I feel like, I know that this is the military, so they don't necessarily have the same ethics as
They do not.
But did we just want to get some chickens for this. Like
Saving lives, man.
Wow.
So it seems they abandoned it, not because, poultry fetishists said this is cruel. It was lamer reasons. It was like they were aware, the British went, there might be an unacceptable amount of nuclear fallout from the blast. You're like, you blow up nukes in Germany, others may, or East Germany, or beginning of West Germany, and that matter that you might want to bury or detonate a bunch of nuclear weapons in an allied territories.
Yeah, indeed.
Space. And also, this is the weird side to wrap it up. Apparently, the records of all this were released to the public in England in 2004, on April the 1st. Officials were strident in denying that this was not an April Fool's
So why
joke.
did they go out on that day?
I don't know. And the BBC again, they quoted the head of education and interpretation at the National Archives, who said, "It does seem like an April Fool, but it most certainly is not. The civil service does not do jokes."
Well, good.
So there you go. That's macrobiological warfare as far as I'm concerned. So hat tip to the boffins in the British labs in
That's
the
beautiful.
1950s.
I am so glad you've told me that.
Saving us all.
That is absolutely wonderful. So I don't know if you've paid much attention to the organoid developments.
Oh,
Organoids.
bits and pieces.
Okay. Over the last little while, there's been growing bits of research where people are like, okay, we want to understand the human brain and various ways we can look at it. We can look at the way humans behave.
Yes.
You know, that's great. We can look at things humans say to us. That's also great.
Yes.
We can look inside the brain in different ways with your magnetic resonance imaging.
Or you drill a hole in a little...
Or you drill a hole.
A little tube.
Or, historically, bits of brains get accidentally removed and we go, oh, well, that bit obviously did something important. Like...
Whoops.
Yeah. So there have been lots of ways we've tried to understand the brain. And I get this is one of the big quests of humanity is to understand the human brain. How does it produce the beauty that is us? But the new movement in the last little while is the organoid movement.
It is?
So what you do is
This is going to delight me, isn't it?
No, you've heard this bit before.
Yeah.
So this is where you get bits of human brain tissue. You've grown these from stem cells, so they're not from a person. Well, originally they are from humans.
They weren't
but
pulled out of a brain.
Not pulled out of a brain.
Yeah.
And then you grow them and you put them in collections. So, for example, in our own brains, we have like 86 billion neurons. But these are in small, vastly
But they all do the
smaller
same
scale.
thing. Sorry, yes, much smaller scale. Yep.
Yeah, like 200,000 or something like that, depending on, so a lot less, but it's there's a number of them, and they are human.
But it's a tiny percentage.
It's a tiny percentage.
Yeah.
But, there's been some really fascinating work that's been done. So there's an Australian company that have got an organoid on a chip, like human brain, basically smeared onto a computer chip. First it was playing Pong, not quickly, but it could learn to play Pong. And now they got it playing Doom, like the 3D or semi-3D computer game. So that's...
Well, it's probably pretty keen because what else it's going to do? It's got no sense organs, arms and legs.
Oh, I'll come to that in a second.
Oh, Jesus.
As well as doing this sort of experiments, the point of these experiments is, yes, to see what we might be able to build with it. The other one is this great one where they wanted to put the brain organoids in the body of a crab. Well, a robot crab. A robot crab.
Yes.
And so
yes.
this is like human brain cells then moving a robot.
A crab.
A crab robot around the...
Why does that make it better than a live crab?
I don't know, but it's so awesome.
And if you're going to put it in a robot, why not put it in a human-shaped robot? No. Listen to me. We'll make it a crab.
So I just want to stress, this is a vast, like it's like a drop of blood, a speck of blood equivalent compared with your brain. It is not the same thing at all. And so
That's what they want you to think.
But I do want people to perhaps work on their messaging around the brain organoids, because I was reading this study and I'm like, oh my God. This new one suggests that, and this comes in the journal Nature, creating these miniature brains, these organoids can sense the passage of time.
Nope. No, see, now, to me, that would be one of the big no-nos.
I'm just like, oh.
How long are you trapped in this eternal darkness with no idea what's going on or why you exist? Oh, I can tell you exactly.
It's been 6 years.
7 hours, 2 seconds.
So
what a horrible bad horrible.
So this is actually interesting research, and it does suggest things about brain cell development. But there's the bit of me that's like, we got to be careful where we're using human brain cells. It's like, are we creating little baby human souls?
Yeah.
And
what are the things you're not looking for to see that it might be doing that you didn't realise, like being aware of its own existence?
So they're stem cell derived collections of brain cells, and these ones in this study are the longest lived organoids that have been observed living for over 6 years.
Oh.
So they've been observing them and seeing how they... This is unprecedented.
So they've started school. they can wash and feed themselves. This is fine.
Normally, they're only around for like a few weeks or a few months. But what they have done here is look at how organoids develop a little bit and how they might have baby cells. And... what they are showing is that they are capable of both recording and recalling their developmental age.
Oh, come
on. This is not, you don't ask them, how old are you? And they say, I'm only 4, but I have nothing. No, they're not toddlers trapped in the dark.
Are we sure?
No. What it suggests is that newly formed cells have certain ways of dividing, and it doesn't really matter here, that produce offspring cells that is different from an older cell. And so they're building them, and they show over time this pattern where they are retaining this cellular memory of how old they are. So when they're dividing, they're behaving like these older cells.
So
it's not quite a sense of time in the sense of our sense of time.
Well, to be fair, at all.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's more like our bodies wear down, and so these brain cells wear down over time.
I'm going to go with things like, programmed senescence, which is like at a very deeply molecular level, not at some part of your at least subconscious brain.
The researchers detected a progressive decline in the essential yet fragile neurons that power brains. They can see these sorts of declines over time, and how they behave does change over time. But to jump through to the passage of time and their sensing, you've just got to be careful.
And this is in nature.
This is in nature, and literally.
It's our fault. It's our fault.
If I flip to the title, human brain organoids record the passage of time over multiple years.
Yeah, see? No. What they've done is they've taken, it's our fault. It's our fault. Science communication fuckwits like us.
Indeed.
Who've been banging away at this for decades. They went and listened. And got it wrong.
Made it clear, made it engaging, made it pop, made it cut through, made it connect with your podcast audience.
Yep, and now horrified. You've traumatized a whole new generation of people who are no longer going to become scientists.
So,
because you're creating, what do you call it? Toddlers in the dark. Who are counting the seconds in which they sit alone doing nothing.
So, bloody fascinating research, and this is just great that you are trying to look at how brain cells function, how they connect, how they work with each other. This is awesome, and I absolutely support this. But man, work on your messaging.
But thanks for listening to us. So I saw this headline this week, not from the science paper itself, but from a very good source that talks about science stuff all the time. Here's the headline. Male circumcision just after birth doesn't raise autism risk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
My first reaction was literally, who the fuck thought this and why? Like, what are you talking about? Why does this need to be
I
shut
like this,
down?
the idea of having a foreskin or not, and when it gets removed or not.
And autism. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Thank you for debunking a thing that I did not realise there was any reason to talk about at all. The ever-curious RFK Jr. was a part of inspiring this recent study that the headline's referring to.
Just to get on the record before we dive in, I just want to, is he pro or anti-circumcision?
That is unclear.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go with...
I thought he would have strong opinions on it.
I'm sure he does.
I just need to know which direction they're strong.
It's a good question. Like, I imagine he's against because, unless you do it with your teeth. Like, it's got to be caveman style.
Like...
Oh, the kid has to do it themselves. Son, you got teeth now, you got to... So apparently he's on record recently as saying, and there's links to this in the show notes, A, 2 studies show that children who are circumcised have double the rate of autism.
Oh.
But...
This is Robert F. Kennedy type studies.
No, these are real, and I'll tell you about them. B, it's highly likely it's because they were given Tylenol after the procedure.
Oh, my God.
So
for Australian listeners, Tylenol is basically your Panadol.
Panadol, yeah. It's they both got basically paracetamol.
I feel like giving... also, you've just got your foreskin cut off. I feel like legitimate to give a little bit of pain.
Can I have some opium, please? Because this is fucked up. You're giving me Panadol?
Toddlers on opium.
You cut the end of my dick off and I don't even get an opioid? This is bullshit. So he's not saying the cut causes the condition as such, but of course...
it's the surrounding conditions. It's the context.
So here's a little background. So he and his buddies were probably referring to 2 studies that happened in the early 2010s. First, 2013. So there's an exploratory paper. It's titled Prenatal and Perinatal Analgesic Exposure and Autism. So it used country-level circumcision rates as a rough proxy.
Wow.
To estimate early childhood exposure to paracetamol, or as Americans call it, acetaminophen.
Oh, okay, so we're saying...
If they've been circumcised, they'd be probably given Tylenol.
Okay, yes, but there might be other things that babies might get pain relief for.
Or they might not have been given that.
Indeed, but that's a wild jump to go. At the country level, if you have more circumcision, you have more pain relief. Maybe. Okay, just pause. I'm just walking through their logic. You could say all random things happen to babies randomly across the world. Maybe there are some potentially, hospital-related things that are more likely to happen in developing world hospitals versus others. But generally... genetic issues or accidents or something like that happen randomly. And circumcision is one of the few choice things where we will cause harm.
So to be clear, in this study, circumcision was not the focus. It was a proxy measure.
Circumcision as the proxy. Wow.
I know, it's obvious. When you think about it, you hear it and you go like, oh, yeah, of course. So data about the procedures were analysed as if they were proxies. Described by the authors, though, this is the thing to be clear on. The authors themselves say this is just a hypothesis-generating exploratory analysis, not intended to reach a conclusion about any links. And it requires large-scale follow-up.
I love a study that says, with stress here, no conclusions can come from whatever
we don't want
doing
to conclude
now.
anything.
This is not a concluding-based thing.
We're just doing this. You're like, well, why then? We go, well, not to conclude anything.
This is scientific spitballing.
Yep, we're going to have a little rummage around. And at least in their defence, that they're only using data that exists.
Okay. Yeah, they're not going out and circumcising.
Yeah. Are they? Well, I don't think so. Are they using it well? Nah. Anyway, and we also got to, again, let's not forget the big assumption. If a baby was circumcised, they were given the painkiller. That is a huge assumption. The authors of the study had no data on whether or not the circumcised boys actually did get it. None.
Yeah.
Straight up assumption. They looked at 9 countries, and for each country they got 2 pieces of data: percentage of the population that was circumcised and the prevalence of autism in men. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. In some cases, the circumcision rate was estimated based on the number of Jewish and Muslim men in the country.
Wow.
So,
So we just
no
got
worries.
there.
No worries.
I know some men that are not Jewish or Muslim that are circumcised.
For the whole FDA.
For the whole FDA.
Cool. It's only for one country. I mean,
well,
there's only, a few hundred million.
And I feel like, it's pretty much a boom time in chemistry where it's like, what can we do? What can we do?
There's a boom time in everything.
Well, that's true.
That's fewer than I expected.
One of her first assignments, and I do want to point to the fact that this was one of her first assignments. And yes, she has been working as an academic for 15 years at this point. So, she's not inexperienced, but one of her first assignments at the FDA was to review an application by Richardson Merrill, that's a company, for the drug thalidomide, which was under the trade name Kevadon, which was used as a tranquilizer and painkiller.
Was it? This is pre-anti-nausea.
Well, yes. The particular thing that Richardson Merrill wanted doctors to prescribe this for was for pregnant women with morning sickness.
They wanted to prescribe it for that.
Well, in other parts of the world, Australia, Japan, Canada, more than 20 European and African countries, it had already been approved.
Right.
Now, we will detail in a second.
Interesting.
We'll detail in a second some of the horrors of thalidomide. And it's weird how short of time frame this is. It's 2 years from go to woe in this whole thing.
Fuck.
And so Frances Kelsey withheld approval for the drug. At the time, the FDA could only withhold approval for 60 days at a time. So she's like,
right.
No. I'm not going to approve this because Richardson Merrill, when they submitted this, contained no scientific methodology in what's going on.
She's such a stickler.
They just say, okay, this drug helps with this, and she's like,
I'm going to need any information.
A, I need some information there, and B, she looked at the authors, and they're like, okay, all those authors have published a bunch of dodgy stuff in the past.
You're going to love that, though. No. We're just saying if people drink this, they'll get better from that. But we wrote it down.
We wrote it down in a letter to you.
It's on the template.
And it's fascinating to me, a whole bunch of other countries had approved this.
Yeah.
Had approved this.
Which they would have assumed helped nudge their case, just get on with
Well, they would have done. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So she had this 60-day period where they can just say, no, we can ask for more information, but we can't, we've got to give a judgment every 60 days.
Right.
So Kelsey at this point is like, okay, give me more information. Now, by December 1960, there is a letter in the British Medical Journal by Leslie Florence showing thalidomide connects to neurological symptoms. So not the birth defect story this year, but she's like, oh, what's going on here?
Was this neurological symptoms in babies or just... Okay.
Now, so this letter recalled to Kelsey the work that she had done on earlier work on birth defects when she saw the drugs going through the...
placenta.
Through the placenta. She said, okay, Richardson Merrill, can you give us some animal studies to demonstrate the drug would not be harmful to the fetus?
No.
Richardson Merrill are like, Well, here's the thing. They had already done some tests on drugs that had shown birth defects.
So their answer was, yeah, but we don't want to.
But they had done them. They had done literal tests on rats and had shown thalidomide led to birth defects in rats, and they didn't report it. And
Counterpoint. Rats aren't people, so it's fine. I mean,
that is true. That is true. And so they sent misleading partial data suggesting their product was safe to the FDA.
Sweet.
So there at the time, and this is the thing, we hear so much of the thalidomide story, and just to jump not to the end, but for those out there, during the 1960s, this early period in the 60s, women were prescribed for morning sickness in pregnancy thalidomide in Australia, Europe, Canada, a whole bunch of places.
Yeah.
And it led to severe birth defects in children.
Horrifying. And super visible.
Yeah, missing limbs is the main thing.
Yep.
So often you would have one limb missing, and there's certainly people around who
stunted growth, like hands coming straight out of shoulders and shit. Like it was really crazy.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Absolutely. And very quickly afterwards was shown that thalidomide was the point here.
And it was in Australia, at least, because I was a kid in the 70s. It was very well known. We in primary school knew what it was.
Yeah,
because we used it as a slur.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
No, we were dreadful. We were monsters. For uncoordinated kids, you'd say, well, you're some kind of thalidomide baby. Like, we were fucking monsters.
Primary school are monsters, kids.
But my point is, it was in the zeitgeist for primary school students in the 70s.
No, I totally appreciate it. And I think this is the thing to recognise. It's utterly a tragedy, but this was not an accident. It's not like Richardson Merrill went out to do this, but they saw some indication their drug worked on some things. Yeah, probably stopped the morning sickness for a second, but then literally pretended that their studies had not found any of these birth defects.
This shit sounds like a C grade, like a thriller movie. Like,
but the fact
just
that
sounds implausible.
They had done studies that showed animal defects and then just said, oh, well, why would we show them to the FDA?
Don't mention that.
And we've got Kelsey here, the only significant country. And I've always been baffled by this fact that you see this history of thalidomide in Australia, Japan, Canada, and a significant thing. One person stood up to this. One person. She stood up
out of the whole bloody lot.
And she was like, no, we need some more data, and your data that you have provided is so far dodgy. Importantly, I mean, Kelsey herself acknowledges her assistants, Jiro Oyama and Lee Gersema, but also her superiors at the FDA. Kelsey has long said, they supported me, that I was saying you haven't provided data, and her superiors are like, no, this is good. You do the full thing.
Okay.
Kelsey's insistence the drug should be fully tested to approval was vindicated in November 1961. In such a short period, when you think this is over a 2-year cycle from 1960 when they started trying to get it to November 1961, when the births of deformed infants in Europe were linked to thalidomide ingestion by their mothers during pregnancy. So there's like a 2-year window,
which is in this world very quick.
Oh, it's wild. In March 1962, 3 months later, after distributing experimental tablets to tens of thousands of patients without approval. So I think they were doing that in the US. Like they're saying you can do, like this isn't approved, so just try it.
We'll just call it an experiment then.
Which were linked to 17 malformed births and dozens more suspected. Richardson Merrill eventually withdrew their FDA application.
Oh, so they did the decent thing.
Freaking monsters. I just love
100%.
Like these monsters.
You can imagine them going, yeah, but we're not prescribing it for animals.
So Kelsey was hailed as a heroine on the front page of the Washington Post for averting in the US. And it really is a large-scale tragedy. And I think the thing is here in the US, they don't quite get it in the sense, I mean, they did, like absolutely. Yeah. She was recognized. She got the Presidential Medal or something good. Where is it? Kennedy gave her a big award. Congress passed regulations on the basis of that. But in a sense, they dodged the bullet, and you never see the bullet. Like it's like the other countries saw the impact of thalidomide, and the US, thanks to her, dodged that.
So that's changed. So that's good.
Kelsey retired from the FDA in 2005 at the age of 90.
I think it's 193.
90 after 45 years of service. 90. She died in London, Ontario in 2015 at the age of 101.
Damn.
Less than 24 hours after Ontario's Lieutenant Governor gave her the Member of the Order of Canada.
So that's what killed her.
a member of the order.
You're now a member.
But also, 45 years of service until you are 90 for the FDA. It really shows.
Sense of purpose, man.
Clearly from beginning, she was like, no, pharmacology matters. And also doing proper scientific testing matters. And she, in some sense, she was doing her job and got awarded for it. But it's that recognition that actually doing your job really properly, where you go, no, I'm not just here to allow some company that wants to sell something where they've literally got data that proves it's poison.
Look, the beauty of this is it's great that she was acknowledged for doing this, and the horror of this is it should never had to be that way. Mm-hmm. If all the people in that organisation and beyond were just doing the job, be scientists, just be scientists without bureaucratic influence or political influence, that's it.
Well, I just wanted to leave on that point that Kelsey acknowledged she was supported by her superiors. And I don't know if the Food and Drug Administration, under your friend Robert Kennedy Jr.
Oh, my close friend.
Is...
and friend of the podcast, to be fair. He loves our work. He's texting me a lot.
Is the same as it was before. So, look...
I think it's a little different. They use Slack now.
There is something in doing the science, doing the bureaucracy properly, is just, we should valorize that. We should hold on to it.
I'd add the word, just do what you're supposed to do.
Just do it.
Just do that. Especially in organisations that are science-based. It's not fucking complicated.
Hey, if you've got a hero of science that you need us to tell you a story about, send them in. Where do they send it?
To us. They'll probably think it's us, though. Oh, cheers, a little bit of science.
What if you say it faster?
.au. Cheers. At a little bit of science.com. Give us a 9,000 star rating on apps that don't even relate to podcasts.
But send us an email. We want to talk to you because you're beautiful. And
you never talk to us anymore. Where's our emails?
And we're there on Twitch in the afternoons on Fridays. Usually.
At some point.
Usually. Often. Regularly.
Is this where we stop because the music's getting louder?
I'm turning it up.
How are you doing that?
Through the magic of the fingers.